Hello, ladies and gentlemen. That video just destroyed my my Wi-Fi, so I don't know how I'm hanging out and whatnot. But yeah, and plus I was gonna say, because I'll edit this out. I was gonna say use the GV opening one, because that one I still got to modify for us not to get copyright strike, because that song is a karaoke version. We still get striked, but oh well. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 398th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I don't know, podcaster mischief, the not super hot but not super cold Travis Snell, and I'm joined by.
I am the Taskmaster, Kirklin.
I am the Pratt Taylor Field.
Just the Pratt. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a really exciting week. We got a fun little newscast here. We kind of do predictions for everything big. Sometimes we miss some when we get busy, but we got our first MCU movie coming up. But Taylor, where can they find us on the interwebs for all the good stuff we were putting out there in the world?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast is our Twitter. GeekVerse is our Facebook. And then also on our... No, you know, I don't have it right now. I was gonna say I go to like default to segment.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, you can do what Marcus Primavera did, who just joined our Patreon yesterday. Thank you very much for joining the Phase 2 tier. You know what he gets? He gets ad-free, exclusive, early episodes. There's going to be tons of stuff coming out early. We are, before July happens, because Taylor's wedding's happening, Kirklin's going, we're going to try our best. We have a date locked down. Looks like we're going to record Spider-Man 2 and 3 commentary tracks. Number 1's up there. Bunch of other exclusive stuff, so go there. You're going to want it right now. And if you like what we do, that's the best way to support us. If you can't, if you don't have no money to spare, even the $1 tier, that's completely fine. Just head over to Apple Podcasts, give us a rating, a 5-star written review. That legitimately helps. That helps you climb the charts. That helps new people see the podcast that might not see it in their search engine. Trust me, after years of looking at it, it does actually help. That's why every podcaster badgers you for it. But if you like us, that's what you can do. Twitter and Facebook, like Taylor said, look out and follow there, because that will be dropping our reviews. We got tons of stuff. Like in this week, we got this cast coming up. Me and Taylor will probably be reviewing Star Wars High Republic: The Rising Storm. I'm 5 hours left, Taylor, so tomorrow with work. But I got 8-hour shift, so as long as no one calls in sick, I should be good.
That's what you've been saying this whole time. I got 8-hour shift.
I'm gonna get it. No, but remember though, I did say we'll have it done before with Loki, so I haven't broken my word yet. So look out for that. We've reviewed the other High Republic books, so maybe go back, check those out. I'm enjoying it so far, so it's gonna be, I think, a fun review. We're gonna have lots to talk about. And then in a whole week span, we have Loki, the penultimate episode, we have Black Widow, and then the Loki season finale. It is going to be a crazy week. We also got Fear Street Part 2 coming up. Is it a sequel? Is it a continuation? I can't tell you, because Taylor hasn't seen the movie and he has to watch it to finish it. But you can check out my review of that and Tomorrow War. I think, if I'm lucky, from the email I got, I think I'm getting a screener of Part 2 as well on Monday. So I'm pretty jazzed about, I'm going to see that early. So I loved it. It's my favorite film of the year. Let me go gush about it and go check on the review. Try and think, like I said, Patreon, check out our podcast network, 7 days a week, 9 shows. Some changes have been there as far as scheduling, but check them out. They got a big week as well. Marvel Alliance has 2 episodes this week, because they're giving you double doses of Black Widow, Comic Book Club, and Loki Review, which is a collection of all the GUA people there. So just GeekVerse and the podcast network in general, we're just kicking butt. And again, a big thank you. Last month was our biggest month, but like every month's been our biggest. You guys made this our biggest month. There's May, and then June, you've grown us by 80% in 1 month. You guys are fucking animals. So just thank you for listening to all the casts we're putting out. As you've seen, we've done a lot more content, and you guys are supporting it. So you keep supporting it. We'll keep doing it. We'll keep creating more. And if you're sharing the podcast, getting out there, we thank you very much. So gentlemen, do you have anything to add that I'm missing? Should be next Sunday when you're listening to this, that we're going to do Sea of Thieves. Finally, we moved some things around, but either way, I've said, whether it's someone's missing or not, we're gonna do it. I'm excited. Taylor tried to guilt trip me too. He's like, "Oh, I've been looking mighty interested in that Pirates DLC."
I've been waiting to play the Sparrow DLC. I've been dying to play it. So
I know, but we're gonna jump to 5 years in the future when you have kids, and you'll be like, "I understand now, Travis." But no, because I'm actually legitimately excited. And plus, I'll figure out my power situation, because sometimes Taylor knows but I found it a whole thing. It's a long story. Kirk, I was going to ask you, because we are about to do Black Widow predictions. It's always fun time. So we have 5 questions. We're going to just The problem is with her being dead and us knowing where her story goes, like it's a little smaller prediction. So if you guys have any things to throw out, you could. But I was gonna ask you, Kirklin, every once in a while I've been seeing you throw out like random movies, and you just said like Endgame you just watched the other day, and still Rexy and all this stuff. And I saw you talk about Hella, and you shared like a screenshot from when you're watching. Have you been watching them all, or are you going in some weird ass order? Because I feel like the order you've been watching them is not in any order. Because people go like, oh, I'm gonna watch all the Iron Mans, or I'm gonna watch chronological, or I'm gonna watch from release order. I just feel like I'll just see it one of like just a random gif of like you're watching this one. I'm like, I don't know if that one's next or what order he's watching. Maybe a machete order. So because I think the last one you watched was Thor Ragnarok and then Endgame. Did you at least watch Infinity War before Endgame?
Of course, I watched Infinity War, and then I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp in between Infinity War and Endgame. Yeah, no, I've been doing the chronological order for like on again, off again, like probably a year and a half now.
It's
so
fun.
It's like, well, I was watching it, and then I got to Thor Dark World, and then that's where I just like took a break for a while. I think I got like halfway through that movie, and then I got Shay in on it, and she started watching it with me, which was a nice motivator to just like keep me going on them. But yeah, no, I've been watching them in chronological order. I was debating like way back to just wait for like Black Widow, because I think that's after Civil War. I was gonna do that, but yeah, no, I've been doing them in the order.
Taylor, you ever watch them chronological order?
I mean, that would imply that I would have to rewatch the entire thing in like a cohesive like from start to finish, which I haven't. Some days I just feel like, I really feel like Iron Man 2. Other days I feel like, I really feel like Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'll just kind of dabble.
Well, have you never done a full rewatch of like the Infinity Saga yet?
No, but I'd be open to it. It'd be exciting.
This is the first time like I said, it's been like a year and a half now, but this is the first time I've gone in that order. And because Shay hasn't seen all of the shows, she's only seen Loki and like maybe 1 or 2 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I feel like this would be a good like motivator for her to watch them, because it's gonna lead into the shows.
It's funny you mentioned Shay has only watched a couple shows of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Madison, I had to kind of like it's like turn the show on, like, here, watch it. She hasn't even seen the finale yet. Like, it's just not her cup of tea, really. But like Loki, she watches on her own, which is cool. She likes Loki.
Yeah.
Where was she on WandaVision?
Wanda, she watched that on her own too. She was really into it. Yeah. She's not into like the what do you call it? Like the political? Shooter, like no, not the political, like the shooter kind of like
Modern Warfare 2
stuff. The Modern Warfare 2 stuff, yeah.
She's the reverse in their household. Anything with a male lead, just get this off my screen. At least WandaVision has 2.
They're both just sexist. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of male and female leads, we in a few days are going to be seeing Black Widow. A character that probably should have had this movie a long time ago, but here we are. We're getting When She's Dead. We're getting it at a prequel and whatnot. We already talked about it was last week, thanks to Clay on the Patreon. He asked us our excitement for it, so we're not going to talk about that. Go back last episode, we kind of previewed it, talk about that. But I think we're all just excited to see like an MCU movie back in the theater at least, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to start off with just hot and heavy. Let's start off. We're getting back in the MCU. So do we see anyone else from the MCU? Obviously, we've had Thunderbolt Ross shown in the preview. So I'm saying anyone that we haven't seen in a preview that may appear, whether it's current continuity, a flashback, something like that. Kirkland, I'm going to start with you. Do you think we're seeing anybody else in the MCU?
I think we might see Barton here. I feel like it would be a fun casting just because those two have like a lot of history back and forth. And because I saw some rumors of like Iron Man online, but I feel like it would be weird to bring. I mean, like Robert Downey and her have some good like on-screen chemistry. If you go back to like Iron Man 2, I think was when she premiered. Yeah, so I think it would be fun for those two to interface together, but at the same time I feel like, if you're getting Robert back, like I feel like you're dropping a pretty penny, and I feel like they would save that for, I don't know, a bigger moment than just like a prequel movie. So I feel like the one that I would put my money on would be Barton Hawkeye.
Was you laughing at, Taylor?
It's just, that's the one thing that they spend millions of dollars on to get Iron Man back, is a Black Widow prequel movie.
So what Kirkland's referring to, there was rumors a long time ago, but I think they've been disproven, as they are showing that scene in Civil War after she betrays like T'Challa and the whole group, and he's like, oh, they're going to be coming for you. Like, they're going to look after you. Like, they won't stop till they get you. apparently that scene of her and Tony's in the movie. So I think that's where the rumors are like, oh, he's in the movie. It's like technically he's in the movie, but it's not new footage. It's just flashback stuff.
Yeah.
I think you're right on Barton because there was rumors a long time ago. I don't know if they will talk about it in a file or they'll just talk about it, but they're like, maybe we will find out about Budapest or something. The only reason I think that you could see Barton is we're getting, seems like lots of flashbacks of Natasha. Like we even see her as like a young kid, right? So I could see maybe the first 20, like kind of, I just watched Raya again. I went to the theaters with Logan and Gwen. It was Logan's first movie in the theater. So she did great till the last 20 minutes and gets a little antsy, but it's fun on the screen. But the way that was like first 5 minutes was Raya, and then it was like 20 minutes of like the origin backstory, and then we got back into the main film, right? I could see something similar happening with Natasha, and we get her as a kid, we get her as a teenager, we get her first few missions with S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatnot. I think the obvious one, which I don't know why I haven't shut it out, is maybe Nick Fury. Dan Jackson just really pops up randomly in these stuffs, right? Because technically they've made it sound like Hawkeye was supposed to maybe assassinate Natasha and he didn't, but still bringing her in, I guess even bumping into Nick Fury or like Maria Hill. Like those two is just always like a free space bingo card space sometimes where it's like, yeah, they're probably just in it. But those are the three. I think Kirkland's right as far as the Barden stuff. I've always been back and forth if we need to see the Budapest scene. I know that's what we talk about Solo of like, oh, we got to see him do the spice. What is the actual term for it, Taylor? The run. What is it? The run that he does.
Kessel Run.
The Kessel Run. Thank you very much. Mind blown because of the heat. Then when we saw it, I was like, we didn't need to see that. And that's where I still sometimes wonder with Budapest. Like, yeah, we hear it talk about so much, but do we need to see it? I don't know, but I think Renner, Jackson, Hill, what's her real name? Colby Smulders is possible. Other than that, I don't see anybody. Well, I got one question, but you go ahead, Kirkland. You look like you're itching to say something.
I was gonna say, because you brought up the point of like separate flashback scenes in her life.
Damn it, Chris. I was literally going to throw this to Kirkland, this question, because I was like, oh, well, Chris, that's why we used to host Marvel Alliance together. Good call. So we'll address, he asked about Val, but go ahead, Kirkland.
Yeah, so you brought up just different flashbacks in her life. So like with that idea in mind, I just think of any character that has at least a semi-strong connection to her, and I feel like the other one would be Bruce Banner. So I'm curious if he might pop up in a
hardcore some weird scene way, right in the middle of the flashback, just her and the Hulk.
Hey, yeah. So I feel like any of those pairings would be really good because they would just be a lot of good on-screen chemistry. But at the same time, I don't want this whole movie to just be flashbacks of her life. It's like a just celebration of her life that ends. It's just her on Vormir, just dead. It's just a tribute movie almost. I don't want to have that effect in it. I want to have it its own adventure with its own new cast members, but I still think that there's a lot of good potential with any of these picks that they bring back, and if they do it in a good way, I think it'll tear at the heartstrings just thinking of where these characters are, and especially since like I just said, I'm watching and I just finished Endgame for the last time, so it's these emotions are fresh.
See you in a minute, and we don't see her in no minute, folks.
No.
So yeah, I'll ask what Chris asked. What do you think about Val from Winter Soldier being in there, Madam Hydra? Because remember, when that happened, there was rumors that she was originally supposed to be in Black Widow appear and then appear in this show. But then there was rumors that they were still considering of cutting her from this movie. So it sounds like she had filmed something for this movie, or maybe just an end credit scene that they were going to play somewhere. That's what I bet is when we watch the MCU, tons of end credit scenes have to do directly with the movie, and then other ones just are setting up something random, right? They're showing character return, Thanos, stuff like that. So for me, I think if we see Val, it's in the end credit scene, and I think it's possibly because we'll talk about who dies. That's one of our prediction questions, but I think Taskmaster's gonna make it out, and I feel like if she is taking on these kind of questionable people but are talented, Taskmaster, we don't know who it is, what it is, but that could be a person she would want. I'm gonna say yes, because I know those articles were oh, they might cut it. I don't see that. I just think it's unfortunate that, because the pandemic, it didn't come out before, but I see her appearing in this movie one way or another. Kirkland, do you agree, or you think that they might say that for another time to surprise us?
No, I totally think it makes sense to have her in this, especially if people have concerns that this is just a movie that doesn't care because we know where her story ends. If you throw in a character like that we've just seen in Falcon Winter Soldier, it I don't know, it just gives some relevance and just like tying it to where we still are in the MCU, even though this is a prequel film. And I just want to know more about the character, so I want to see her in there, and I think pretty strongly that she would be in there.
Chris has said some reviewers have said the end credits are bonkers and mind blowing. Well, I hope Dom Toretto shows up in his fucking Charger and is like, "I'm here. I heard you're all about family." And like, and by the way, I don't know, Taylor, does he drive a Charger? What the fuck does he do? What is he?
I'm pretty
drive?
sure it's a Charger.
It's probably a Charger.
Okay, good. That's a ding because I know shit all about cars other than the Batmobile. So Taylor, I'll ask you first as far as what do you think the chances are about for Val appearing, and then after that, who do you have, or maybe do you have nobody appearing in this movie from the MCU that we haven't had previews? Like I said, we have Ross. He's in trailers. We don't know what he's up to, but probably combing his mustache.
It's a 1970 Dodge Charger. So yeah, Ross. He's in this for sure.
Well, he's in the previews.
3 points.
Yeah.
3 points to Taylor. Yeah.
I would say, yeah, I put money on Val. I think that's a pretty good pick. Anyone else? I mean, maybe there's to a degree you could see Hawkeye in there, but I don't.
Don't say Ghost Rider.
No. This is the one movie I don't see Ghost Rider making an appearance.
What if this was the one?
He like becomes the main character too.
That'd
Just
be
takes
very
all the
weird.
spotlight.
Yeah.
They actually make that's how they resurrect Natasha. She gets like the Ghost Rider spirit. I actually be down. Imagine ScarJo riding up on a bike looking like the Rider. Oh yeah, the Black Rider. Maybe they won't call it that, but still, like that'd be pretty cool.
It's I mean, it's hard for me to really tell because I mean, after seeing that not Doctor Strange, the Shang-Chi trailer, it's just like there really could be anyone. For all we know, they could throw a bomb, like not Abomination, because well, maybe they could throw Abomination in this movie.
She's fighting the cage fight.
Red Skull comes back, floats in from the sky.
Anyone's fair game, but I think Val is certainly a very prominent pick. But yeah, I just. As far as predictions go for who else I could see in here, like I honestly don't know. Aside from flashback scenes, like you mentioned, with like that possible one with Tony, I don't know. Maybe Bruce Banner.
That's a good call, though. Of like, I'm trying to think of who low-key, like, and not low-key, like an Abomination that hasn't been around for a while, but could just randomly appear. Like, you might not like this, Taylor, but like a Justin Hammer, like supplying someone weapons or something. Like, I'm trying to think of somebody just around, you know, and even then too, and I bet what the person could be that we're not even thinking, it could be a person that by Endgame or in Endgame dies, but because technically this is a Civil War flashback, could appear the same way. If you remember in Endgame, how Robert Redford appeared from Winter Soldier, but he was dead, but it was like this big gas moment because like, oh man, right, they're back in 2012. He's still alive. He's still like leading Hydra right now. Yeah. So I bet you could see a character that, because if you think about from Civil War to Endgame, that's 7 years in their timeline. There's a lot of characters they could pull from that we like could have missed or are dead or gone or whatnot. And obviously I can't think of them right now. And I should have thought about that. But until Taylor said the thing about Abomination, I was thinking all like the top level people, but you could easily have somebody of just minor, like you could have like I don't think you would, but you could have like a Pepper Potts or a Favreau. I don't think you would, but I'm just trying to think of those side characters. Unfortunately, she's never had a movie before. So before I'd be like, oh, who else has been in her movies? But like I'm trying to, well, Falcon Winter Soldier, like if Crossbones was still alive, I'd say he was a good contender, but he blew up in Civil War.
When did Coulson die? Was that Avengers 1?
Avengers, yeah. So he's gone.
He didn't though. Well, I guess that's not canon. He is dead in the MCU.
He is a canon, yeah. And then technically though, they reveal in Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. they're what they call in Marvel a life model decoy. So they just keep making him over and over. Like he's like a helpful robot kind of deal.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, and Nick Fury has used that in the comics before. Kirklin likes that. But in the comics, Nick Fury has used that many times to like disguise himself or keep himself safe so people can't assassinate him. So it is a thing in Marvel, and I bet it could happen. Yeah, I think we've nailed down who we could possibly see. Now let's talk about who could die, because this has a lot to do with going for us. Obviously, this is a prequel, but it's taking place in 2016. We have Black Widow. She's a goner. We have Yelena, her sister. We have Rachel Weisz, and then we have Red Guardian being played by David Harbour. So this was a thing, and I'll admit that I'm completely wrong on this. I, for a while, was saying Yelena, her sister, was going to die. But from enough of the directors saying things, ScarJo saying things, and even the reviewers, I think we've even talked about before, there's like a rumor of her appearing in Hawkeye or something like that. I think that's the unfortunate thing with the pandemic. They kind of spoiled that, oh, she's going to make it out of this. I'm interested to see how that happens in the movie, because I don't know if I like, because people have said like, oh, we could get a Black Widow 2 with her. And it's like, I feel like that's kind of shitty of like ScarJo waited over 10 years to get her own movie. She dies. And then Florence Pugh, who I love, I think she's the second, maybe first best actress in the world right now, but she just gets to the MCU, gets a role. And then like in 2 years from now, she's just going to get another movie. It's like, fuck, that kind of sucks. So I don't know how, I feel like the other handoffs have been a bit more natural, and if she's just Black Widow all of a sudden, it might feel a little forced. Like, hey, we wanted to kill Natasha Endgame, but we still want Black Widow. So it, as far as who dies, I think Rachel Weisz is going to bite it. I don't know about Red Guardian. I could see him being like a sacrificial play, but I think her whole family is going to die except for Yelena. Taskmaster's not dying. I just think they'll keep him around for a Thunderbolts or something. I don't know. It just feels like it's a setup for him or her. We'll talk about that. But Taylor, do you think who's biting in this? Other than obviously Natasha's not dying in this, but do you think her family's all gone? You think more people are making it out? Do you think Yelena's 100% making it?
I think Red Captain America is gone. Yeah, Black Widow is a given. I don't see them doing the route like just totally throwing ScarJo to the side. Like, hey, we're bringing you back for this movie, but it's really just to like kill you off and introduce the new Black Widow into the MCU. That would just be totally shady.
So what is she back for then?
Why is she back?
Yeah, if you're saying it's not a handoff, are you implying that there are more prequels, or there is a way to bring her back in the future?
I'm implying that this is going to set up something. It could even be Skrull related. I think that this movie, just like Captain Marvel, is laying the groundwork for something down the road. Again, like Captain Marvel obviously was to set up the fact that, hey, we got Captain Marvel. She's going to be a huge game changer in Endgame, all that jazz.
Taylor's
Whereas
favorite.
now you have also the Skrull that were introduced in that scenario too, and that was for down the line whenever we dabble into that. And now I think with this movie, I think you could see a very high chance of maybe some behind the scenes Skrull, because we know that they've been kicking around since the 60s with Captain Marvel. So I think we'll get to see some behind the scenes, like in the army and like what's going on.
90s, by the way.
90s, that's the one.
Yeah. There you go. So are you trying to imply that they're gonna? I don't think you're saying this, but are you gonna try to imply that Natasha was a Skrull in Endgame, and then she's actually really kicking around?
No, because I don't. That would be very bold. I don't think a Skrull would be Natasha would like go to that extent to save the universe, unless she's like a diehard Natasha wannabe. But like,
she's deep undercover.
Yeah, deep undercover.
She truly thinks she's the original.
Yeah.
I oh my god, I think that there's a chance that there is Skrull in this, but I don't think that that's the case. Like, yeah, and if it was like, that's a whole nother movie in its own. Jesus Christ.
Okay, Kirklin, who do you think is Biden in this movie?
Yeah, just quickly touch upon the Yelena thing. I feel like I never thought that she was going to be the one dying. It just also probably bringing in like the knowledge of like how hot of an actress like Florence Pugh is. Like, yes. Just, you know, she's so hot right now. She's so hot.
They got her for a reason. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't
like
just
like she's just on the rise. I feel like she hasn't even peaked. Like as an actress, she's just so good. I've loved her in everything I've seen her in. So I feel like she is like a quality type character that they can just prolong in the MCU. I don't think that she would go, or rather, I don't think like the MCU would go the route of giving her just her own movie, like, you know, just taking the place of Black Widow, because I feel like she might play one of those positions kind of like what Natasha did in the earlier MCU movies, where she was just popping up in here and there. You know, kind of like the Hulk, like he doesn't have his own movies, except for that, I guess that one in 2008, and then he just like keeps popping up. Yeah, and then like maybe she just like once the fans really start liking her, then they'll give her her own movie. But I don't think it would be called Black Widow 2. I think by then she would kind of have her own alias.
Oh, I think she's gonna go by Black Widow. I 100%
you think so?
Think
yeah.
So I'll ask you this: in the next 5 years, do we get a solo movie starring Yelena?
No.
Taylor?
No.
I'm gonna say yes. I think because the Florence Pugh factor. Yeah, if she keeps getting big, which is crazy. Which is crazy to think about. It was yesterday. It was the 2-year anniversary of Midsommar when we were recording this, and it's just like that's the first time. Like I think I'd seen her in a wrestling movie where she played Paige, and I was like, oh, she was good, but like I think that she's already been nominated for an Oscar. She's going to win one day. She's getting more popular and popular. Like Chris said, it happened in the comics. So maybe she won't call herself Black Widow. I think you're definitely right. She'll take the place of the team, but I just wonder, like, I'm trying to think. Like, I guess you could throw her on the Avengers squad. Like, whenever we get that, like, I imagine we're gonna have Falcon on there. I'm very excited. I think soon we did that right after Endgame. I think soon we got to do another, like, who we think is gonna be the roster Avengers, because I feel like even just getting the few shows, so much have changed. Like, I think we live in a world where I could see Loki on the Avengers of the rosters now because he's such a good guy, you know. But
yeah,
you could be right. I'm still gonna say yes in the next 5 years, but maybe I just miss it. The only reason I said 5 years is because Phase 4 ends in 2023, so it's still 2 more years, and then you would have think that Phase 5 it would be 24, 25. So I think it's possible, or maybe there's like a combo movie. It's like her and if Haley Steinfeld takes over for Renner, it's just Hawkeye. Her and Haley Steinfeld. That is a deadly. Imagine. I know it'd be fun if they had to go back to Budapest for some reason. It's the new Hawkeye, the new Black Widow. But that's a huge movie right there.
That's like the title too. Back to Budapest.
Back
with
to
like
Budapest.
the letter with the number 2.
Black Widow. Oh, that'd be awesome. Black Widow back to Budapest. That's like Fast to Furious shit. That's great. Wow, you gotta love Carl's in the chat, and he compliments just Chris, who's in the chat, not actually hosting the show. None of us. There you go, Chris. You got one of our patrons loving your show over there. But yeah, let's talk about.
Hold on. I still got a couple more. Just on for who I think would die. What's his name? Like the Red
Guardian.
Red Guardian.
Red Robin.
They describe him as Russian's Captain America.
So yeah, if I had to put money, I would say either him or Melina. I think those would be the two likely to go. It's funny how you said you could see the Red Guardian going like a sacrificial manner. I feel like that's just been done for that type of character so many times, but yes. I can 100% see it again. He's kind of like a father figure.
The only thing I have for people and this is no, I've not actually read a review, I've just seen reactions. People saying they love him so much does get me wondering, like, is he possibly alive? Like, could he be a contender if she goes to Avengers? Could he be a Thunderbolts contender? Like, are we thinking of the wrong person? That maybe it's not Taskmaster. It's David Harbour. People like David Harbour, he's a good enough actor.
Totally.
That sounds bad, but I mean, like, I think there's potential for him to grow, and if people like this character, but I just feel like somebody has to die in this movie. I think he's it. For you said her name was Melina, because I don't know too much about Black Widow, like the one Rachel Weisz is playing.
Yeah, Melina Vostokov.
Yeah, if Chris is still watching, I'm 99.9% on this sure. At times she's been a villain, and I know many people have speculated, like, could she be Taskmaster, which we're going to talk about. I feel like she will die, but it's not in a heroic sense. I think in a way, like, she could be, even if she's not Taskmaster, something going on with her that's twisty, but who knows? They don't have to do that. When characters have played heroes and villains many times, they don't have to follow the comics, obviously.
Yeah, it says apparently in the comics she's known as the Iron Maiden, and she was like a long-standing grudge with Natasha. So there you go.
Yeah,
that'll be some fun.
But in this one, it's her mom, so it's like, what is the like adoptive mom, obviously, but it's like, what would be the grudge if they don't have to do that? So
no, exactly. And then just on the last one was Taskmaster. I want him to live on, but I honestly feel like he's gonna die.
Really?
I feel like he just fits into that role of the type of villains that I've seen so far in the MCU that I wanted to get excited with them, because I like the look of them. Maybe I just like them from previous iterations. My two examples would be Ghost in Ant-Man 2. Now I know she's not dead, but at the same time I was just pretty disappointed with that character, so I felt like they could have just killed her off. And then like Shocker, again, another one that's not technically dead, I guess, but he's just like such a letdown. So I feel like
Shocker now.
Maybe like the Taskmaster.
You're the Shocker now.
Like, he looks pretty cool in the trailers.
Professional wrestler?
Taskmaster, he looks cool in the trailers, but honestly, I thought Ghost looked really cool in the trailers and Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then I was pretty let down there. So I feel like he'll probably go the same route here and then die off. But if he doesn't die off, I think he will go the Thunderbolts route, like what you mentioned, Travis.
I think even if he's disappointing, I just hope they keep them alive. You guys know how I feel about this. I think we're all pretty much on the same. Like, I think there's every once in a while, like, even, and this is the thing I love, in Endgame, Thanos is technically still alive. He's just in the stone. But to me, if they were to kill off Thanos in Endgame, that would have been like, okay, this feels warranted. He's been around for a while. He caused so much destruction. It's time for him to go. But even they were smart enough to be like, yeah, let's not kill him. Even though they have multiverse, like I said, I'll say this every day till the day I die or till I start watching the MCU. There will be an end credit scene at some point in our lives where a portal will open and you'll see Thanos popping out of it. I guarantee you that motherfucker's coming back. Taskmaster, it's just like, I think maybe what they could do is kind of like Hela, where Hela, she was on that planet when it blew up as far as Asgard, but you could see right before Surtur like threw his big spike down, she like evaporated and disappeared, right? So I'd like that, where you could kill him off, but in a way where the classic horror movie, if they're not dead on screen, they're not completely gone, right? So maybe he's like in a ship and it blows up, or he falls into the sky, but as long as we don't see him get decapitated, I think we're good. So, and Chris says, I hate when the villains get killed off the end of the movie, let them grow beyond. I agree too, especially I think it's different too when we're in the Tobey Maguire X-Men like era, when it's like you're gonna do Green Goblin and that's it. You're not like, the MCU is this living, breathing continuity that they want to keep going, right? So it's like, it's good to have these characters. So like Abomination, when you bring them back, everyone gets hype. So maybe in 5 years when Taskmaster comes back, everyone gets hype. If Red Skull was dead, you would never have that moment in Infinity War when he reveals himself, right? So I think it is warranted. You can't keep everyone alive. Like, look at Robert Redford, Winter Soldier. Perfect scenario where he's like, I'm doing one fucking comic movie. Like, I'm like one of the greatest actors of all time. And it's like, you know what? This guy who's a little bit older, he's not playing a classic character. Yeah, let's have Nick Fury shoot him and he's gone, right? So I think there are times you can do it, but Taskmaster, just especially whoever it is under there, which we're gonna talk about soon, it's masked. So it's like, it's very easy to get anyone to play that role, you know, like you could have someone else play Taskmaster. So yeah, we are going to take our first ad break and then we're going to continue with the predictions. So we will be right back. And we're back. So this is something I'm interested in, and I'm going to refill my water, boys, while you talk about this. But where I know I'm interested in, but I had to leave. I'm just parched. I forgot to fill it up. Kirklin even dropped like a weird water gif, like a guy just dousing water himself. I didn't even think to
that was a heads up. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think to get that. I was more like, I think Taylor fell asleep. Oh my goodness. But where do you think the movie actually ends? Does it end just in this movie where they complete the mission, it's over? Does it end with her getting recruited by Steve? Maybe that's an MCU camera, but does it end there where, because last time we saw her in Infinity War, she was on the run, platinum blonde. Does it end with her on, Vormir? Does it end with us following Yelena? Where do you think this ends, Taylor Field?
I mean, gosh, could anywhere. It could end when she's like fighting in Wakanda, for all we know, and during Infinity War. Really just pick and choose.
Well, like, I feel like she shows up in Infinity War before the Wakanda scene. No.
Yeah, in the train station. It could just cut. The end of the movie could cut right to the train station. Like, who knows? But yeah, I mean, that's an intriguing question. I mean, where's it gonna end? I'm inclined to say it'll probably end with her dying. But I almost feel like at the same time, I feel like this movie could somehow erase her death in a weird way.
What?
Like not erase, but I feel like we could get some way of keeping her alive. Or what if this is like an alternate timeline with another ScarJo, like another Black Widow in it? Like, for all we know, that exists. Like, what if this is in the timeline where Loki escaped from, and we had Captain America beating up Captain America in the time? Like, it was just, again, I guess you close that timeline technically, but we know that these alternate branches of reality exist thanks to the TVA. But I mean, there's so many things. Like, is this in the main continuality now? Like, I don't know what's real anymore.
That's true. Yeah, they're messing with time and all sorts of things. I feel like my only counter to this being something that's not in may I call it the sacred timeline, like the one basically where she was before the start of Infinity War, would be because, I mean, we were talking about this, I think, in the Loki review itself, how I feel like these shows, yeah, they do get us somewhere from where we were before the show to the end, but I feel like at the end of the day, you don't really have to like dive into these shows without getting like kind of what happened from it. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of tripping here on my explanation, but I feel like that would be a bold thing to do, considering this movie was supposed to come out like even before Loki was out. So if they were like to try and combine them, I feel like that would just kind of be unlikely in that sense. But honestly, if they did do something like that, where like it totally changed our just perceptions of what happened in Endgame with this character, That would be a wild, wild play. And again, like just thinking about when this movie was supposed to come out, I feel like to play those cards would just be unlikely, but still pretty crazy.
I mean, it's plausible. I mean, look at Red Skull. I mean, Feige was saving him for the long con, and look at Abomination now. I mean, like he's got all these eggs in his baskets, and
we're gonna see Natasha again. She's gonna be just the floating Red Skull.
Yeah,
she took his place.
What I was pitching Travis was that how do we know like this is actually in the main timeline? Like, what if this is like an alternate timeline? Like, what if somehow they bring her back from another timeline? Like there's so many like what ifs now to take into account.
There is, and I think there's when you mentioned the stone, I would love the twist of whoever takes the stone replaces Red Skull. That's what I'd fucking love. Not that would happen, but when
Kirklin's theory.
Yeah, when Kirklin made that joke of like, oh yeah, she's Red Skull now, but it's like if that legitimately was her, that'd be pretty cool. But no, I don't think. I think we're gonna stay on a pretty human track with this. I think you could get in that one day, but I think this is supposed to be her adventure. I think they can't make Endgame feel pointless, and that's where not pointless, but that's where I worried a little bit with Loki. That I think they're answering some stuff now. Minor spoilers. It looks like the TVAs are frauds, right? So it's like, okay, the stuff that I was worried about not true because they're liars. If you in this one movie bring her back, I think however you do it, fake death, scroll, multiverse, I think people go, oh, okay. Because imagine like Kirk and when this was originally supposed to come out, you would have seen Endgame, and then the first movie of Phase 4 after Spider-Man is this movie where they bring it right back. Now I know lots of the deaths like Gamora and whatnot have already been fixed, but no, I don't think so. I honestly don't know where it's going to end. I don't have a strong feeling because I try to think of the other prequels we've got. In Captain America, it ended literally setting up the Avengers with him waking up in New York. But then in Captain Marvel, it just ended. Her movie ended when it ended, and then the end credit scene was the setup for the future. So we've seen them do it twice. Of one set up in the movie and one wasn't. I think that, in my opinion, I think the movie will end on her adventure, but the end credits will be us in the present day or the near future, or whatever it may be. And maybe that's obviously what we'll talk about in a second. But that's what I think it's gonna end with her adventure. That's what I think. Or like I said, maybe that's the cameo. Like I said, I don't think they get Chris Evans, but maybe that could be the it. No, Chris, I don't think we're gonna have Mephisto sighting anywhere in the film. I certainly hope
that's
not.
Taskmaster. That's you cracked it, Chris.
Yeah, there you go. That's the mind-blowing end credit scene, but that would be like what Taylor's referring to or something like that. If she was back alive, that would be a mind-blowing end credit scene because like, oh look, she's back already. But it's a little risky, I could also see the ending of maybe that's where we meet Jeremy Renner. Is like, what if Yelena, we jump forward and she's going to like a burial site of Natasha, or something like that. Like it's her just like meeting him or just meeting someone of relevancy, like her going to where she died, not Vormir in a sense, but just to Stark Tower, like where like it could end on her in New York, and then that kind of sets up an adventure. Who knows? Maybe something in this movie won't be set, like maybe it won't be closed off and Yelena's falling a loose end. I don't know. So, you guys got any more theories on any endings or anything like that?
Kind of piggyback on what you said, like, oh yeah, they bring Black Widow back at the end. That's all the surprise. I could just see it now, like Florence Pugh, like, oh, you promised me my own movie, and he just resurrected ScarJo.
Yeah, that's the whole conversation going on. They hate each other.
I didn't even get my prediction there. Mr. Travis comes in from his water, thinks he runs the show now. I was gonna say, I feel like this is probably like the most vanilla like prediction, but I feel like we might see like Steve Rogers in here, or like even just like if they do that little cock tease where they don't actually show him, but it's just like kind of the silhouette with like the shield. Like that'd be an easy way to throw him in there. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like we kind of know where she shows up in, Infinity War. So I feel like they would do something, just being like, oh, here we are. And oh no, I guess that's a separate question. I was going to go into the end credit scene.
We'll do it now, I think, because you got everything on the ending there. Yep. Okay. Well, I don't know if that means that does go. That means over my head. That's fine. Yeah. And our final one here, unless these guys are anymore. I said, what is the end credit scene? I imagine there's probably two, because I just feel like we didn't get any in Endgame. I feel like they're gonna go balls to the wall. And I feel like people have been saying, I feel like we've been saying this, the end credit, I think was going to be huge, because they're always like, oh, this movie's going to set up Phase 4. I never thought the movie would really set up Phase 4. I just think some of these end credit scenes, and I could for a hope of a chance, I could see them actually doing 2 end credit scenes and one of them not being just the funny one. I would love that if they were 2 meaty ones. But what do you think we said? Because like the last end credits we had were Nick Fury being revealed as a Skrull in Spider-Man Far From Home, and the whole Peter being revealed as Spider-Man. So those were 2 big end credit scenes. Both had one comedy bit, but had some stuff. So Kirklin, you were going on about the end credit scene. What do you got?
Yeah. So again, like that little like end of the movie pitch I had where it's like Steve coming up to her. I feel like that wouldn't be an end credit scene just because like it's
That's
leading into something. No, exactly. It's leading to something that we already knew about. It's more of just kind of like a deleted scene that that we're getting to see now. So for predictions, now I said earlier that I honestly feel that Taskmaster won't make it out of this film. I feel like maybe there's a chance that we'll think that he didn't make it out, and then he'll go to the end credit scene, and then he's kind of like dust himself off. Maybe Thunder, like that's where Ross comes in and like collects him, and then again it's just Ross in these movies just like collecting members for his team. So
or Val, we don't know what, or maybe they're working together. I don't know, because that's a weird thing, because I did always think it would be Ross, but now that they've introduced Val, it's like, are they working together? Are they opposed? I really don't know. And the thing is, Thunderbolt Ross does become Red Hulk in the comics, so maybe it's like he's going to be involved in the Thunderbolts that way, where we always thought he'd be the leader, but maybe he'll be an actual like member of the team. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird that they are both in there, very similar characters.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I feel like, and like you said, I feel like we would get like a funny one, which that's where like if the Red Guardian's still alive, maybe he'll do something funny, get some belly laughs and stuff. But
I'll ask a yes or no. We get a funny one, you think?
I think so. I feel like it's like this movie, it's kind of like celebrating like, you know, ScarJo's Black Widow and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's MCU. We're here to have fun, and it's a family venture, so I feel like it would make sense to have a funny one. But yeah, I'll leave it there.
Taylor, do we get a funny one? Because I'm in the no camp. I think even if it's funny, I mean, like the Skrull one was like funny with Nick Fury. They're going back and forth, but still revealed like, oh, he might be building sword. He's in space. I mean, like a funny one, like the ants playing drums and Ant-Man and the Wasp. And you're like, okay, we like this is, you showed it in the trailer too. That was the piss off too. So it's like, do you think we get one that's just purely funny? No plot, no big reveal, no twist. It's just, oh, look, it's Red Guardian. Yeah, like Kirklin said, like eating a burger or being funny, or he's working on a stand-up routine or something like that.
There will be no funny ones. I think it's just going to be serious.
No funnies.
This movie just like has some humorous moments that are wholesome throughout it from the trailers, it seems. As far as on point humorous, like moments, I don't see them tackling that, because I think, again, this is a character that's dead, and we're going to be tackling a sensitive issue for Black Widow in our history, where this program is like taking these kids and turning them into agents just to kill and execute, right, that are just brainwashed. So I think this is going to be a sensitive kind of storyline for her, and there's not going to be a lot of room to just kind of throw humor in there. Whereas like an Ant-Man Paul Rudd, he's already a very comedic character. As soon as he gets out of the van in Civil War, he's cracking jokes like, oh, you're Captain America. Like, that's not Black Widow. Black Widow in general does have some comedic moments where she has a slight banter with someone else, but her as a character is very serious. So I don't think we'll get a funny moment post credits, especially if Red Guardian dies. Then I don't think we'll get one at all.
Then what do we get, Taylor?
We'll get something serious, probably of Nick Fury like landing this sword ship on a planet and walking off, and then that'll be it.
Really?
Like, who knows? I don't know. It's just we haven't seen much with him, except that his Earth version was a Skrull, and his space version is sunbathing in a spaceship of sword.
And that's it. Something with Nick Fury. That's your bold prediction.
I think it'll be something with Nick Fury. Usually is, or it could be maybe some connection to Budapest or something, or Hawkeye. I don't know. It could tie into the Hawkeye series somehow. They just play Infinity War the whole movie, and it's like, oh man, this is great. But so I think you're gonna get two. I think also you'll probably get two. I think you'll get one that sets up something directly for our characters. I think if Yelena's alive, that's the setup, whether it's Hawkeye or just whatever Avenger she might be, or meeting an MCU person. I think that's one. And then I think the other one is a bigger one. I'm trying to lower my expectations, even though for like a past year and a half I said like this end credit scene is gonna be fire, but it just
when you like Chris said, when you hear people use the words mind blowing, this or that. Now, I would agree that the mind blowing one from Spider-Man Far From Home was mind blowing because you got J.K. Simmons back at J.K. and you had the Peter reveal. So I think that was like, okay, that was worth it. This, yeah, it's interesting because I don't know what would be the big thing they could introduce. And I think if it's Thunderbolts, I guess that could be big for the GA, but for us who've been talking about for years, I think it's the, one of the worst cast secrets that they're going to do Thunderbolts at some point, I feel. So I feel like it'll have something of a larger MCU, but it's tough because I don't think it's going to be anything time travel related. I don't think it's going to be any Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So, maybe it's Charlie Cox. Maybe we get to see this Daredevil right before Spider-Man. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something big, but I think it'll just be maybe the confirming of a team. Maybe it's literally Thunderbolts Ross asking him to join Team Taskmaster Red Guardian, and then you zoom out and he has the team already. Maybe that's what's mind-blowing. The end credit is like a bunch of the villains. It's Abomination, it's Justin Hammer, it's Ghost. It's like, here we go. So yeah, Chris with me as far as keeping them low. I always do. Like, unless they're the Avengers films, I usually have them high because I feel like, okay, well, you gotta, even though in Age of Ultron, look at what we got. We just got Thanos grabbing a glove being, fine, I'll do it myself. Pretty lackluster end credit scene, really. It's like, well, we know he's coming already. We know he's after the stone. So I want something big. I think it will be a great end credit scene, but gonna try and go in with low expectations. Maybe it's Boner showing up and he's not actually Boner and he was lying and he is Quicksilver. That would be 10 out of 10 movie.
Holy
for me,
fuck.
but.
He comes in like Thor in Infinity War.
And the people that like haven't seen WandaVision are like, what the fuck is this? Like, who's Boner? And
why is his name Boner?
Yeah, like, fuck, I hate Boner so much. I'll never get over that. Feige. I just would love to have that conversation. Is there anything else you guys want to say or predict about Black Widow before this Thursday/Friday?
No.
Going once, going twice. Taylor, nothing.
What she doesn't have blonde hair in like any of the trailers, right?
No.
My prediction is that we'll get some blonde hair. That'll be a weird flashback.
No,
that'll be
flash forward.
No, yeah, that would be a flash forward. Okay. No,
or just a present day if the movie ends with her. Like, what if she's in a bathroom cutting her hair, bleaching blonde, and then someone knocks, and yeah, it's just Chris Evans' voice, like, we gotta go. It's like, okay. Like,
good Chris Evans.
Yeah, because you only get his voice. I was gonna say, because when you said the silhouette, you wouldn't see the shield because at this point he doesn't have the shield either. Don't forget. So
that's right.
MCU memory bank all up here. So, well, next week, like I said, we'll be reviewing it. GA will be reviewing it. We got lots of good content for it. I think it's gonna be a fun review. I have my expectations set pretty low for Black Widow as far as like I'm excited just to see another MCU film, but I'm not expecting it to blow me away. But maybe that's the opposite. Maybe going with such low expectations that'll happen. What I am expecting to blow me away, though, just a few quick news topics, is Spider-Man No Way Home, because we apparently got Toby kicking around, we got Spider-Man kicking around, we got all these villains. Now, because of some Funko Pops, we have 6 Funko Pops revealed. So we got Ned, MJ, who has been, the actress has been a little busy this week with her Spider-Man co-star, which is just great to see. Toby and Kirsten Dunst, Emma and Andrew, and now Tom and Zendaya. It's just great. So whoever gets cast as live action Miles, look out. You know what's happening in your life. So we had 6 Funko Pops, obviously because this movie is supposed to come out around July, like originally at one point. Probably this is the starting of marketing. There's Lego pieces out there and stuff. So throughout last week, we saw a bunch of leaks of merchandise and images, and we had obviously MJ, Ned. We had a look at Doctor Strange, who's his Funko's holding a shovel, and like his Funko, like he has his drapes on, but he also just has like a regular shirt on. Chris, don't bring up the Peter Tingles. I hate the Peter Tingles as well. That's not as bad as Boner, but Peter Tingles. Come on now. I don't need to see those both on screen together. John Boner having Peter Tingles? No, don't give me that. But we saw those 3, but then we saw 3 Spider-Man. We saw Spider-Man in the suit from Far From Home, which is called the improved suit or updated suit. So I imagine it's like that one, but a few changes. So it's like has the webbing, it's black and red. And then we had I don't even know the names of them. I'm not sure if anyone has the Funko up there, but we had 2. We had like a new kind of golden red one that looked like maybe a new armored spider one or an iron spider one, where it's red and black, but then lots down the arms and the spider symbol has a gold outline, a gold trimming. And then we had the other suit that was fully black, which Kirklin, it reminded me a lot of the finale one in the Spider-Man game where he fights Doc Ock. Remember that inside the building?
Yeah. Yep.
So it had those lines. And then we had one where I think it was one of those suits. I can't remember. Taylor will talk about this, but it was him doing like Doctor Strange magic. And that created a big debate online of like, there is lots of shade thrown at the MCU Spider-Man this weekend, but then lots of people spoke up against it, against that. So Kirkland, I know your reaction to one of these suits. So share that first with the people, because I know your reaction, but I don't know your reaction to the other one. So which one do you not like of this? So far, what we've seen. All we've seen is a Funko and a toy, but so we got to see in live action. But just on your first little taste test, a little wine test of the suits, why did you not like suit A?
So yeah, for suit A, it honestly just reminded me a lot of Captain Marvel's suit. And now I don't not like that suit for Captain Marvel. It just I feel like the more I'm seeing like these new suits, the less I'm liking them. Whether we're thinking like the first like Stark suit that Tom Holland Spider-Man got with like the black trim and everything, it looks nice, but the more I see it, the less I like it. Same thing with his Iron Spider suit. The first time I saw that in Infinity War, I loved it, and then you're the one that brought up like the one set in the comics. So then I saw that one, and then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that one's not quite as nice. And then the more I see it, just the less I like it. And it's the same thing with this one. Now I haven't seen it on screen, so maybe it'll change. Maybe it'll look really, really cool on screen with all the effects and everything. But just like quick glance on it, I'm like, honestly, I just like, let's just get red and blue back. Like just that classic. Like I started funny enough, you're giving me shit because I keep watching these random movies, but I was watching Toby's Spider-Man 1, 2001, and I love that suit, and it's so iconic, and I don't think it'll ever be beat for me. So I feel like the more I'm seeing of these different variations, and I should pull back a little bit because I do love seeing all different types of suits, whether it's in the Spider-Man video game or multiverse. Like I do like seeing those suits, but just for this interpretation of it in the MCU, I'm liking them less and less. So I think it was just the gold that really reminded me of Captain Marvel that kind of took me out of it.
What about the black one then?
I'm gonna have to pull up the Funko Pops because I can't quite remember what.
There's a Funko. Like. I put it in, I think GV and the GV3 one. There's a Funko, but then there's actually the action figure too. So Taylor, how are you feeling for some of the black, red, and gold one?
I mean, personally, I love them all. Like I really do.
Okay, there you go.
Like my least favorite suit that he has had so far is probably his
Don't say it. Don't say it.
What was it, like his ape monkey one or something like that?
Oh, like Night Monkey.
Spider Monkey?
Yeah. Night Monkey. Yeah. Spider Monkey, yeah.
Like, it was Night Monkey. I just watched the movie 2 days ago. Okay. Don't try it out, Domi. Yeah. I thought you were gonna say his original origin one, like when Tony met him. Like, no, that one's fucking fun. Like,
with like the shorts and stuff. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I love
the big
that.
jersey and the goggles. Yeah,
that's fun. I like it. No, yeah, his Night Monkey one is probably my least favorite one, I guess. But I like the suit that we're getting here, like the red highlights, like really digging that. And then again, like the suit where hopefully if he's gonna be conjuring some stuff, like I'm sold. And shout outs to Hansi too, because she's totally on board with that. I haven't followed up in chat since, so I don't know if she's like changed her mind or you convinced her otherwise. But yeah,
she turned against you 100%. She's like, I should have picked Travis in the match. I've been wrong ever since then about everything I've said. I can't keep stealing all these Wi-Fi routers and these internet apps and everything like that. So I'm not sure if Kirkland. So I've
seen it now. So yeah, that black one, it definitely is like reminiscent of the video game one, which that was like one of my favorite suits in the game. Really cool. I'm such a sucker for like any black Spider-Man suit, whether it's the classic symbiote or different variations of it. So I really like that one. I'm curious as to like what the reasons to be for it or its use, or if it's just for fans and all that. What are you biting your lips for?
So some scoopers, I'd say like C plus tier. No. They don't have scoops, but they're theorizing, and maybe it's because they have scoops. I just hate this so much if this is true. They're theorizing the black suit. Oh, fuck. Okay. They're
Take
theorizing.
a drink. Take a
They're
drink.
theorizing the black suit is because he's gonna become John Boner's cousin. No, he is Peter Boner. He's going to be the reason he has this suit is so the audience can distinguish between the three Spider-Men, so they won't get confused. So they'll know, oh, that's Tom Holland because he's in the black and yellow
People
suit.
are stupid.
Well, no. They're saying this is the reason. I think lots of decisions and stuff in movies, you do have to hand feed the general audience. The people that see 2 or 3 movies a year, I get that. I think the GA would understand the differences of the suits. And I also think like the second you have a voice behind the suit, like Andrew, Toby, and Tom do not sound alike at all. So it's just like the fact that you think the general audience couldn't distinguish between the three. And I'm not saying this is scoopers. They might be right. They're just putting it out there. If that is the case, because to me, like when we're getting all these posters and we're seeing like they're all fan made. One, stop making Toby look like he's fucking 70 years old. He's just like about to be 40. But
getting
like
older and older.
All these posters are so cool of like all 3 of them together, right? Doing their thing, but they're all in their classic suit. I will lose a little hype if he's in the fucking red and yellow. If he's in any of these, to be honest, and I think they're not like, I don't think they're wrong because what's he going to do in the middle of the movie? Is Toby and Tom going to come back, or Toby and Andrew needs to be like, let me change into my red and blue? No, it's going to be whatever he's wearing at the time. So I bet he will be, for some story reason, wearing this suit. Maybe it has something to do with Electro and it doesn't hurt him. Like he's going to be wearing this suit and that we're going to get that hero shot, but Tom's going to be wearing the fucking black and yellow, and I don't want it there. I just like, and that's what created this whole conversation this weekend of like people that hate MCU Spider-Man and people that love him. I don't hate him. It's just definitely not my cup of tea. I don't like all the gadgets. I don't like that at times he's Iron Man Jr. I know Taylor's all about the magic. I don't really want that, but then at the same time, people argue like, "Hey, we got Toby, we got Andrew. The reason they're doing this is because like they're doing something different." I've always said that, right? And I think that's my problem is sometimes they just go too far to be different. Like, oh, they've done that already. It's like, it's I've always had that problem. I've not been the same people like that hate the movies because they don't mention Uncle Ben. But yeah, I would have liked a flashback by now. I would have liked something. So I just hate that. If we get that whole scene then together and he's in the black suit, it's still gonna be cool. I'm completely nitpicking at all, but like I don't know. I like the suits. I'm with Kirklin as far as the golden black one. I think I might like it in live action, but the toys just kind of seem almost similar to the Iron Spider too. It doesn't seem that crazy different, and I just don't like those suits. Even his regular red and blue, it doesn't look clothy enough. It's so CG at times. I'm like, I just miss cloth. I wish they would try to be a bit more practical, but there you go, Kirkland. That's supposedly the reason why they have the black and yellow is to maybe distinguish between the Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, I definitely don't like that reasoning. Also, like you got to think like in this Tom Holland Spider-Man, I feel like every time he talks now, his suit just like takes the mask off right away. Like it's it's like a Stark device. So
yes.
Like if they're concerned that you don't know, I feel like every time he talks, it's going to be just, hit it back. And then we get Tom Holland's beautiful face on screen talking.
Easy fix.
I really hope there's like some other explanation. Like you said, even if it's just like, oh no, it just helps against Electro, or it's literally the exact same scene in PS4 Spider-Man when he has to wear that suit to defeat Doc Ock. Cause apparently that guy said that he's coming.
That was the best line Feige on the red carpet this morning. When will we see Julia Louis-Dreyfus again? No, you have to ask Afro Molina. What a fucking king statement. That's so good. Like, oh man. Like, but to your point, I would even be down if the final battle happens and it's them, their spider suits, but they have the masks off. Like, let's say they start the masks on, they take them off. It's not going to matter. Everyone knows he's Peter Parker, and plus these two other fuckers, no one knows who they are because they're from a different multiverse. So do that. I would take the red and blue suit if it meant the masks were off versus the black and yellow. But
Toby's got like it's just like fucked up like mask that he had versus Green Goblin. Complete, looks all beat up. Yeah,
complete with Spider-Man 3 emo hair.
And then the one I didn't really touch upon was it's the same suit, I believe, like the gold one, just with like the Doctor Strange effects. When I saw that, it got me thinking, because like I've like back when I was a kid, I had like Wolverine toys that just had like really random like pairings. Like he had like a fucking like bazooka or something, like whatever it might be. Maybe it was like McDonald's toy. So maybe it's something like that is just like, oh, it's just a fun mix up. But I also feel like it brings up potential for like some fun reasonings on like what it is. My initial mind went to like Spider-Man 2 when you have Toby just like losing his powers, and then like, you know, maybe there's something that has to happen to help him out there. I don't see it going that route, but just something that causes him to do the magic. It kind of got me interested. It's definitely something I've never seen before, which I'm not against. I'm not always against. I feel like I always will probably, whether I want to admit it or not, I have those Toby movies in my head, so I'm like, I know what my Spider-Man should be. But I don't know. I want to be open. I love Spider-Man. Tom Holland's probably the best Spider-Man I've seen. Just like him portraying the character, I think I'll always prefer the Toby stuff, just because I enjoy those movies more watching them through. But I at the end of the day, I don't know. I think when they have all these factors that they're juggling, whether it's the 3 Spider-Men or just like all these types of things that are supposed to be happening in the multiverse of madness, my expectations are getting a little high, and I'm scared that maybe they're a little too high.
For me, I like, and this is where it comes down to, if they sat me down and said like, okay, we can have Toby and Andrew in this movie, but he has to wear the black and yellow, then I'd say, okay, fine, just do it. Because my expectations are literally like, I just need those 3 together. So all the rest of the stuff I'll like nitpick and not be happy with maybe, and it may affect the score like a little bit, but my big points are, it's, as long as I get Toby, Andrew, and Tom together in this movie, I'm happy. I'm pretty on board, you know, as long as it's there for a bit. So anything else to say on the suits? Anything? Going once, going twice. Okay, we're going to take our last ad break because we have 2 other quick things to talk about. Talking about suits, we got some flashes to talk about, so we'll be right back. And we're back. So supposedly, we don't know where this video is coming from. People are speculating it's for DC Fandom. At first, I was like, why? That's not till October. But I guess maybe they could be working on it and then just splicing stuff in throughout the months. We had a video, like a minute video leak on Twitter, and then it got pulled down. But it showed a bunch of concept art. I put this in the GV chat too. I think it should be somewhere there, of all these images and everything. So Taylor, what do you think about this? We have this image of Flash saving a bunch of babies in a hospital. And the biggest thing that people took away is we have lots of Michael Keaton. Like, he's in almost every one of these concept art. So we had talked about that a few weeks ago, that that rumor was that he's going to be in as much as Indy's dad was in Indy 3. And it looks like, if everyone was wondering, is he going to be wearing the suit? Fuck yeah, he's been wearing the suit. I don't even know that was a question. I don't even know when he got cast, when people were like, you can't put him in the suit. He's 6. Fuck off. He's Michael Keaton. You're telling me you're not going to put him in the suit for this movie? You fucking idiots. Like, Hollywood and DC are done with some stuff, but I'm sorry, you don't get Michael Keaton, not put him in the suit. Like, come on now. But Taylor, what do you think about some of these images? Also, we got more looks at Sasha Calle as Supergirl, and also, not that you're gonna know, but in 2 images we had a character that had a big spoiler alert on them, so we don't know who that character is. Did you have any theories running around that Taylor Field mind of yours?
I got no fucking idea who you're referring to.
You don't? So do you have the photos there? Are you looking at them? You should pull them up.
Let me pull them up.
Yeah, there's one photo. It's like of a rooftop, and it's Flash, Batman, and Supergirl's flying over it. But then on the ground, there's a character, you see their feet, but then there's a big bubble around them that says spoiler alert. So obviously it's somebody that they don't want to show yet. So people have been speculating. Some people say see a shield and sword, so they're thinking, is that a Wonder Woman? I don't know. Like, we do have Gal Gadot on a bus in one of these set photos. I don't know. Maybe it's a Wonder Woman from a different universe. Some people have speculated, what if it's I'm forgetting her name. Who played the original Wonder Woman? Oh man.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm forgetting her name. Shit. But anyways, because people are thinking multiverse, what if it's her playing Wonder Woman in this universe? They don't want to reveal that yet. It's just theories right now. No one knows. But it is interesting that they have a character in 2 concept arts that they don't want us to see yet. And I don't think it's, some people said, oh, it's Ben Affleck's Batman. I don't think so, because we know he's in this. So I don't think they'd need to throw the spoiler tag on him. So it's very interesting that we might have another contender character in this film that is not known to us yet. You know, Taylor, did you find those photos?
Yeah, I honestly have no idea who that could be. I mean, the sign's just too big. It's blocking it out.
But what do you think about all these photos with Michael Keaton and whatnot?
I think it's really exciting. I think it's really, really awesome. Again, like the scene of like Michael Keaton, I think he's in like a bat cave or something like that. That looks kind of cool. And then like,
and that's one with Supergirl on the ground, right?
Yeah.
So what they
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, so in Flashpoint, what this is based on, that's what people are thinking is Superman. They use a storyline where the scientists or the government have locked Superman up and they're just using his power. And he's like a complete skinny, just like almost has no powers because they've cut him off from the sun. So they've just been experimenting on him years. So that's what people think they're doing with her character, is she's been locked up. I don't know if that's the Snyderverse or a different universe, but that's why maybe they've brushed her out. And that's why she's looking pretty not good and whatnot, because the government's been experimenting on her. So that's the working theory right now. They're taking that storyline from the comic book.
I see.
Yeah.
Again, we see a shot of him in the Batmobile, which looks super cool. Yeah, I'm just amazed that this kind of like leaked to begin with. But like, are we? So that's Supergirl standing on the balcony. Then I'm assuming with Ezra Miller behind.
I think so. It looks like his haircut.
Yeah. Okay. So do we get anything like Cavill related in this, or is it just gonna be totally Supergirl?
I think it's just Supergirl. Like, obviously, some people are like, maybe he's the spoiler alert. I don't think so. I think this is another step as far as if we don't get a mention of him here and Black Adam, I think Henry Cavill's like done, like 6 feet under done. But that's the only problem, is we don't know. Once, like we talked about a few weeks ago, this Supergirl, is she his cousin, his daughter, something like that? I think once we find out more information on her, we'll get a better status of what he is. Because if it was like, if it's still in the Snyderverse and she was just kidnapped somewhere, that could literally still be his cousin. That's why we haven't met her, right? Because the government locked her up and we haven't seen her. So I think once we know more about her, we'll know more about him. But he's still he's up in the air. No pun intended.
Cool.
Kirklin, what about you?
So what was your original question?
Linda Carter, by the way.
Linda
Carter, by the way, is you think obviously I imagine you don't have anyone as a theory of who the spoiler could be, but what do you like these concept arts photos so far? Are you surprised that Keaton's in it so much?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that he's in it so much. I do like the look of all the art. I think the more I'm seeing of Supergirl, I'm getting more excited for to see the character on screen. And like I commented on that one shot, I was like, oh, is that the skirt cape coming back? It kind of looks like it. I think you kind of shot that theory. Plus they kind of show her on the balcony, and it pretty clearly she doesnn't have one. It's just
she's been seen on set with a shoulder cape too.
Yeah. So I mean, a boy can dream. But I like what I'm seeing so far. I really like the shot of the Batcave with like the waterfall in the back. I like to appreciate a good Batcave and all that. But it is interesting if you bring up like the whole Wonder Woman thing, especially if you zoom in. It does look like a sword for sure.
Yep.
So like just thinking how she'd be in there, but.
What if it's Aragorn, because that was a Warner Brothers movie and it's a multiverse? What if it's what's his name, Viggo Mortensen there?
The True King is returned.
Fuck, I'd pay so much money to see that. I don't give a shit if it make no sense. If Aragorn just becomes a DC character,
he like beats the shit out of Superman too. He's like just this god.
Yeah, his store's out of kryptonite. It's been reforged. But like the thing is, like, why are we not getting like Lord of the Rings comic books? I feel like that's such an easy thing to do. Isn't it like you could do?
I bet it's in like Tolkien's will, like no comic books. Just
his will when he died, like in the fucking 40s or whatever, and they're making a fucking Amazon TV series. He didn't know what Amazon was when he died.
Very specific about it.
Like fuck.
They are making. You've heard about the anime movie they're making, right?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
It sounds odd. Did you, Kirklin, or did you not hear?
I said yes. I'm like, oh, you didn't ask me. Never mind.
So you stopped when you said awe, but I don't know if you're gonna say awful or awesome.
I think it's awesome to hear the first battle of Helm's Deep. That's gonna I'm not an anime guy, but that's gonna be kick ass. We're like definitely reviewing that. That's awesome. I want more of this. I want more Lord of the Rings games, stuff like that. But I like all these concept arts. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for October because I think we'll get an actual footage. I have no idea who spoiler alert is. I think people with that idea of Linda Carter would be great. I just don't know if it's a cameo, like if it's a small scene of her helping. Sure, I don't think she'd have a big role, but I'd be down. We could see. I don't think it's Gal Gadot. I don't think that makes sense why they'd hide her, and I think we'd hear about it. But I'm so excited the day we get that first image of Michael Keaton in the bat suit, but not concept art, like him on set, like a nicely well lit photograph. Oh man, that's going to be a day where I'm going to cry. So one thing, Ted's going to have no idea that I was going to throw this to him, but I wanted to talk about it quickly. And because Kirkland's seen the trailer as well. Ted, what did you think about that Star Wars Visions trailer?
Again, well, I am surprised you brought it up. I didn't think you were much into that kind of stuff. That's why I only tagged Kirklin in it.
It's Star Wars. I'm into it. Like just because
I know,
I
but
gave
just
up on
when
the
I
Bad Batch doesn't mean I
no. There's a difference between like animated series and then anime itself.
Yes.
They're very different things. So with this, I think it looks awesome to have the element of these different creators, just like samurai style Jedi and Sith, and like I feel like there's elements of, again, this I'm just gonna use like a blatant example for people that don't anime very well or very much, but like
Like
Last
yourself?
Airbender. No, I anime. The Last
Do
Airbender.
you?
Oh yeah, Last Airbender, Gurren Lagann, One Punch Man.
One
Uh,
Punch.
I feel like again, Last Airbender had like there's certain elements that I feel like this Vision's sneak peek kind of like reminded me of that, just with the certain characters that they portrayed in their art styles and everything along those lines. But like I think one of them was talking about how they're like, yeah, you have twins, one is light side, one's dark side. Like sounds like an awesome story arc that we're gonna get to dive into. I'm totally down for that.
Well,
And
that's
another
because
one
that's
of like,
just Legends.
well, all of this is Legends. Yeah, I'm not expecting it to be like
Yeah.
actually in the canon, but I want to see these stories done. Like,
No,
this
but I
is-
mean, like the reason you like it is because that storyline was done in Legends. Remember the twins, like the two separate
oh
twins. one
yeah,
was good,
but I
one was
mean,
bad.
I again, like, and it's, you're right, that was
Oh,
the
I
case, but
flustered him. I got him on the ropes. He's getting
this
dizzy.
this is different because it's not the Skywalkers. It's just again, who knows what part of the era
Yeah.
in Star Wars it is. On top of that, again, we get more like Master and Apprentice trapped on a planet, and they encounter this creepy old Sith hermit dude or whatever. Like, he's just super unconventional from what we normally would expect. Like, this is the kind of thing I really enjoyed with again, Halo Legends did this, where they did several different anime creators came together and they did several different short anime features, and it was just awesome to see their different interpretations. That's what this is, and I just think it's great. They should do this for more different forms of mediums or medias as well, because I think so many other fans out there that maybe don't like Star Wars because they're mostly into anime, then it's just kind of like their go-to and what they really love and passionate about, and now they can enjoy Star Wars, which is great.
Yeah, before I let Mr. Anime go, I'm with you as far as I'm down. Just like when Peter Quill found out he had powers in Guardians Galaxy 2, and he said, I'm gonna make some crazy shit or whatever. Like, I'm down for that. Like all the stuff, like Clay's gonna roll his eyes. But right now they're doing a manga for Batman and Joker, and one of the Joker's manga is somehow Batman gets turned into a baby, and Joker takes the baby, and he's gonna raise Bruce Wayne. And I'm like, man, when that comes to English, I can't fucking wait, because that sounds wild, and I want to read this story about Joker raising a baby Bruce Wayne Batman. But like, I'm not into this as far as anime goes, but obviously you guys know I might be a little busy in September, so I don't know if it'll happen. But the thing is, I saw enough that like, oh, I'm interested because I love this series or this franchise. I'd be down to check it out. It's gonna be on Disney Plus. It's coming September. They have said it's binge style too, which I like because they made it sound like they're gonna be short films. So this is something easy. If we do review it, I think you could easily watch in a couple hours and then do it. So I liked it. I think, like you said, I like all the concepts. I like seeing different styles. The good thing is if I watch, it's not for me. I know it's for a lot of other people, but I'm with you as far as Marvel, DC, whatever, maybe Star Wars, other franchises do crazy stuff like this. Now, Taylor, have they said that these are going to be legend stories, right? Like these won't affect canon in any way? I don't think. Right?
I don't think these are going to be canon, because if they were, it would, again, it would change so many different things.
And I think that's great. The same way they've been really marketing, like you got your Legends Luke Skywalker, right? And they've been bringing in, like Katie's been sharing with me, like all the Legends books coming out with new covers and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Bring that back. Like that would quench the thirst of people that hate these new trilogy movies and believe people that, oh, they're remaking the sequel trilogy. If you believe that, you're an idiot. You need to like check yourself. It's not happening. They're not doing that. These movies were successful. Sure, was there mistakes made? Yes, but those were like $4 billion worth of the movies. They're fine. But I'd be so down if you made an animated wing of like it's the same as Marvel doing What If, bring back Legends, and these are stories about Star Wars of if it would have went different. So that's why I'm down for like out of canon stuff. I'm down for a different style, and this look cool. So if I'm available, I definitely would want to watch it with you guys and review it. But Kirklin, what about you? Did you this intrigue you at all?
It absolutely did. Yes, I feel like I've been
question, but
I feel like I've been wanting something like this for just a really long time, because I, especially like piggybacking on your whole Legends spiel, how like I don't even want canon stuff anymore, because it's just like the stories that I'm interested in are the stories that are not in like the mainstream. It's not the Skywalker stuff. Like the stuff that I'm really interested in is like, you know, Darth Bane series, like that old Republic type era. And like if it's really that hard to check all these boxes to make it fit with the canon, like let's just like fuck off with the canon. Let's just make these like really cool stories that are set in the Star Wars universe, where we have lightsabers, we have Force users, light side, dark side. Like you just have these ingredients and you can just make awesome material out of it. And that's what I'm really excited about seeing this trailer. I got really hyped. Like you said it, like I really like anime, and I funny enough, I'm actually pretty particular with like my animation style. Like I could turn it on, and if it's weird animation style, I'll just like turn it off right away. I'm like, I don't care if I've heard this is a really good story. Terrible
like
animation,
porn, right?
Exactly. If it's looking wrong pixels, I'm like, no, gotta turn this off. Can't do 480.
I don't like that position. No doggy style for me, right, Taylor?
Oh yeah.
But I really like this animation style. I have like a nostalgic place in my heart for like 90s and 80s style anime, where it's not as like polished as like the newer stuff, but it just, I don't know, it activates those memory banks in my head, and I just get super excited seeing them. So it had that, but it still was like polished to a modern day one, where like a lot of the character details, they looked really like modern day and really nice, something that you might see in like a newer anime style, but it still looked like really hand drawn, where I find some of the newer stuff can be real digitally arty, which nothing against digital art, but I just like that magic of like the hand draw. It's probably similar to like like reminiscing of like the 60s Spider-Man show that I used to watch, where it just looked like a comic book, and I just really like that stuff. So,
or like when Disney redid but they did Princess of the Frog, and they made it like, oh, it's updated, but it's still like hand drawn stuff, where people go like, oh, like new Disney has like the Pixar like animation, but a lot of people love that old school Disney. It's hand drawn. It's, you know, it has a certain just level to you, and I think we all have that with different media, whether it's music or other movies. Like when people, like, you look at the way Tarantino even made like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where it has like that old feel and like that old school, like, or like something like Ghost of Tsushima, when it has those certain modes, like Kurosawa mode. I think that, like, obviously you're not alone, but I think that's a lot way with a lot of people. There's certain things where, like technology is great that we've gone that far, but I still kind of, look at talking about just even Star Wars, JJ, and doing practical in Force Awakens, how much we're all like, fuck yeah, like no, like not that much CG. And when you look at it, there's tons of CGI in Force Awakens, but the fact that there was like one alien that was really drinking water, you're like, this is fucking awesome. And look at BB-8, he can actually move,
Yeah, no, 100%. And like seeing just like the content wise of what they showed, it just got me really excited, because again, it reminds me of those legend stories that are just so different from what we've already gotten in the Skywalker saga. And as soon as they said like two twins, like one dark side, one light, I was like, oh, okay, I'm fun to be binging this. This looks so awesome, and especially just like seeing the different Star Wars. The different Star Wars, the different lightsaber style. Like there was like that old man with like the two daggers. It just looked really cool, and I want to see different styles of that stuff, because it's just Star Wars is just such cool source material, and I want to see different variations and stuff like that.
And again, who's it gonna hurt? Like, it's just like you put on Disney Plus, you're gonna watch it at the new market. It's just like, that's what it's same thing with Marvel. I want them to get nuts too. Like, just do it. Like, you have your canon, have your line, and you can keep doing that. But then on the side, do some crazy stuff. That's why I like What If happening. That's why I like this happening. That's why hopefully DC does it more. Like when Joker was a hit, it's like, yeah, do more. Like I'm a continuity freak. I love, like, because without continuity, we would never got the portal scene. So of course I want that, but I think there's two markets where you can have this is our universe, that's everything nice in a row. Like you said, we got to check these boxes. And here's where we're just having fun and doing crazy shit. Here's a universe where, Luke Skywalker went evil or something. Like, just do it, Like,
no, I love it. No, it's the exact same thing with like the What If series. Like if they did a full movie, Captain Britain, you had Peggy Carter starring, like, so many people would just be bitching online, and there'd just be so much drama about it. But it's like, it's a What If series. If you don't like it, it's like, suck a dong, dude.
Yeah. And they'd watch it anyways.
Exactly.
Just to say they hated it, they would pay them. Like, I've said that. I said that Marvel Alliance. I hope that I think we will get a live action Captain Britain one day. Maybe not in a movie, but I bet if they travel multiverse, they might go to a place where she's Captain Britain, and fuck, that'd be awesome. Like, I think that is the good thing though, eventually with Marvel and Star Wars, that Disney and those people will realize, okay, eventually people will get tired of us doing the same thing. So let's change it up. So yeah, I'd say look out in September. We'll probably have a collection of us reviewing that, whether it's on a newscast or its own separate thing. Like I said, I like that's binge style. It's been said that they're going to be short stories, so that's good. So maybe they're all like 5 to 10 minutes. But hey, I'm excited. I'm excited to check it out because even though I don't like it, I like the concept of like let's do something new. So anything else to throw out here before we end this episode? No, I should have pimped at the beginning because right now we're about to record our superhero draft early, so you can check that out on Patreon. So I'll pimp that on Loki and Black Widow. But thank you very much for tuning into this one. Just a quick little newscast to hit some topics. We'll be back with Loki, Black Widow, Loki again, tons of other stuff going on, and we promise you, not be boring.
Peace.